Hey everyone, it's Roya Bagari again. Really excited to start segment 2 with you all. In this segment, we're going to learn all about getting an ITIN and an EIN, about business bank accounts and the process for obtaining those, about permits, and then about insurance options. So first off, we're going to talk about an ITIN number, and everything that Tanya just talked about in terms of starting a business. You're going to need a social security number, or if you don't have a social security number or unable to actually obtain one, you have the option of getting an individual taxpayer identification number, which is an ITIN. And it is something that's issued by the IRS for those that can't get that SSN for reasons or another. And it's specific for federal tax reporting. So it doesn't authorize work in the US, but work authorization is not required to earn a living as a business owner in the US. And IRS code 6130 actually makes it illegal for the IRS to disclose information obtained from taxes or an ITIN application to other federal agencies, including immigration. So the nice part is that they have been pretty good about maintaining confidentiality in the past, but there is still going to be, a risk associated with it. But in terms of actually obtaining the ITIN, what it does, it allows individuals to report their earnings to the IRS, open, a bank account, conduct business in the US. It can be used to obtain that business entity, and hire employees. And so you're basically going to need one or another to get going with your business. Either you need that SSN or an ITIN number. In order to actually get an ITIN, the most common way is to do it by mail. And so that requires the taxpayer to complete the W-7 income tax return form and mail it in with certified copies of documents proving your identity and foreign nationality status to the IRS. And then they're going to review that, within 10 weeks, and they'll then return all of those original supporting documents that you've mailed in. And then it's going to be processed within 6 to 8 weeks. You actually do have 2 other options for doing it in person, if that's something that you're interested in. And all of that information is available on the IRS website. And so, now that we've gone over how to get your ITIN, or, if you have your social security number, how are you going to go about obtaining your employer identification number? And that is a unique number that's assigned to a business entity. And that way it's easily identified by the IRS. It's commonly used by employers for the purpose of reporting taxes, and it's a federal tax identification number for your business. And so they must be used by business entities, the corporations, partnerships, LLCs. They're not required for sole proprietorships or freelance workers, independent contractors, but they are in fact highly recommended. So why is that? That's because, it helps you file business taxes, avoid tax penalties. It can help prevent identity theft. It can really add credibility. So if you're working with other groups, having that EIN number, it'll speed up business loan applications. It's a component of obtaining and opening a business bank account. It'll build trust with vendors, establish business credit. You can easily hire employees, and you'll just get a lot more options as an overseas entrepreneur if that's your status. So once you have your EIN in hand and you're looking to, how am I going to open up a business bank account? What are the benefits of opening that business bank account? Because as Tanya mentioned before, if you're a sole proprietor, it can potentially mingle your accounts, what comes into it. So if you are to actually open it, you're going to get protection. It's limited personal liability protection, personal protection for customers. Then there's that added level of professionalism. So you can pay with a specific business credit card and have checks that are specific to your business. And then also employees can handle day-to-day banking tasks in that way. And also, just in terms of preparedness, you can get a line of credit for the company. If there's emergencies, you need unexpected expenses or new equipment, you'll have larger purchasing power. So if you have startup purchases, and you can also then start building up a credit history for your business. And overall, it just helps you make sure that you're not intermingling. And when it comes down to, your budgeting and everything, you have everything in a very specific pot that you can look into. So when you're choosing a bank account, The rates, fees, options, those are all going to vary. So, we recommend that you shop around for the lowest fees, the best benefits. A lot of the times they'll have introductory offers, different interest rates for savings and checkings, rates for lines of credit, transaction fees, early termination fees, minimum account balances. So oftentimes, as a first step, you can go to whoever you personally bank with and see what are the options that they give you for a business bank account and compare that to some other offers. And in terms of documents, if you are getting your documents together, you can go online or go to your local branch to actually begin the process. But some of the common documents that they're going to ask you for is that EIN number or SSN or ITIN if you're a sole proprietorship. They'll ask you maybe for some business formation documents, ownership agreements, your business license to make sure that you have what you need to operate legally. So those are things that you can look towards taking. So in terms of just licenses, permits, things like that, the next thing we really want to get into are what are the different permits.
Hi everyone, Matt Zimmer here. The permits in childhood development are somewhat complex, really ranging from the easiest, the assistant permit, all the way up to program director permit. And there's quite a bit of nuance in what it takes to get each one of these permits and what each one provides. So rather than going into detail in this lecture, if you're on this slide and you actually click down on this link in the bottom right, that'll take you to a specific workshop on obtaining a permit and what that permit allows you to do and how to gain access to those permits specifically for childhood development. Those links are also provided in the course outline, so if you are not in the slide and just watching the video, you can also find them in the course outline. Just to give a little more detail, this will kind of give you an idea of the various different complexities that exist in the childhood development permitting process, and we'll give you an idea of what different permits allow you to do and how to obtain them. So again, you can either pause this lecture and watch that workshop and then pick back up in this one, or finish through to the end and then go check out that workshop to get the full details on how to obtain the right permit. All right, now back to your regular scheduled program.
So once you have your permits, you're going to be thinking about how can I actually, mitigate risk, protect myself. And as Tanya already mentioned, there are some business entities that have protections in place, but insurance is always something that you should consider. It's a system of protection which reimburses people and businesses when their wealth or property is damaged. So there'll be a premium that you pay. That's the amount that you pay for insurance. And then there's a deductible. So the amount of loss or damage you agree to cover before insurance then comes and pays the claim. So if you have a lower deductible, then you might have a higher premium. If you have a higher deductible, you might have a lower premium. So a lot of things to consider. And there are a number of different types of insurance to think about. So there's product liability, business income, errors and omissions, key person life insurance, automobile insurance, workers' compensation if you have employees, disability, commercial fleet, property, general liability. And kind of on this slide, we get into what are the different types of insurance types, who's it for, what does it do? General liability insurance is for any business. It covers against financial losses, bodily injury, things like that. Product liability insurance is particularly important. And then there's commercial property insurance. If you're operating your business out of your home, there's home-based insurance, there's business owners policies. So there's a lot of different coverage options. And so this probably sounds like a lot, but it's definitely something to think about, considering some types of businesses do require insurance as a part of your, business to even operate. Whereas, other food businesses don't have mandatory insurance requirements. So if you are operating as a sole proprietor, then they wouldn't be able to come after you, personally come after, your home or a continued livelihood. Anyways, that is the conclusion of this segment on insurance. And so if you have any other questions on it, please feel free to reach out to us. And these are all things that you should consider as you're continuing along your process. So I'm going to turn it back over to Tanya now for the next segment. Thanks.